Hello, friends. In this series, which has begun on April 22nd with the dastardly attack at Pahalgam, we have been covering various aspects of that particular attack, how we should be preparing ourselves, what lies in store, how the Indian Army may possibly retaliate, and the basic fundamental reasons why terrorism propagates the way it is being handled by Pakistan. So right now we are perched upon that very interesting juncture where the situation is, I think, a lot more interesting than say a match between Arsenal and Manchester United or an India-Pakistan cricket match. Uh, the situation is such that everybody is glued to the social media for updates as well as the mainstream media for credible updates. Now, in retaliation, what the Pakistanis could do is flood the social media with a lot of fake news. To start with, they had mentioned about six Indian jets being brought down by the Pakistani Defense Forces. Unfortunately, or rather, I would say it's a real pity that even their defense minister, their INB ministers, they have also been caught quoting social media references in justifying the fake news about the bringing down of the Indian jets. So that is how the Pakistani machinery works. Maybe only if their army was as smart, as vigilant as their social media warriors. Their social media warriors have been doing an excellent job of trying to, say, demoralize the Indian masses or small lame attempts to even demoralize the Indian army by spreading all these kind of fake news, and their politicians duly supporting these claims and making a fool of themselves on the mainstream media. Everybody has by this time watched the interview of the Pakistani defense minister with CNN, and also the interview of their INB minister with Yalda Hakim, who really grilled the gentleman, and he had no real credible answers to offer. So why does this happen? Just give it a thought. Like each time, why does Pakistan fall back upon fake news and propaganda? For example, a large segment of the Pakistani public actually believes that Pakistan won the 1965 war. In fact, they also have a particular day on which they actually celebrate and commemorate the so-called Victory Day. While all of us know that Indian Army had actually gone right up to Lahore in the 1965 war, and that is where Pakistan was forced to withdraw their Operation Gibraltar, where they actually had thought that they will undertake a swooping attack on Kashmir, and Indian Army will be found ill prepared for it, and we won't be able to defend ourselves. So we had not just defended ourselves, we actually opened up a new front down south, adjacent to Lahore, and our army actually entered Lahore. That is how it actually happened. And then Pakistan had to call it quits. Another thing is they have one third of Kashmir within their custody, against which they feel that their army actually managed to capture this huge territory, followed by the 1965 so-called victory. 1971, they don't speak much about it because the pictures are all out in the open where General Niazi was found signing the surrender papers in presence of General Arora from our side. So that's a bit difficult for them to propagate some fake news against that. But now, yes, they are back to what they do best, propagating fake news. We had spoken about the radicalism, how it takes birth, what is the root cause of it. We have already had three episodes in this Pahalgam series where we have extensively spoken about the root cause of Islamic terror, how it is backed up firmly by certain controversial verses, which unfortunately are present in the Holy Book Quran, which these religious fundamentalists always depend upon. Now, what about the fake news then? Is because every religion actually teaches you to speak the truth. Then why so much of fake news coming out from this Islamic Republic of Pakistan? Because that is again borrowed from another verse, which some of us are very much familiar with, which is called Al-Taqiyya. Al-Taqiyya, which is the art of deception. So apparently, the Holy Book is allowing the followers to put up a deceptive front, and that extent of deception could go to any extent where you are, in a way, allowed to put up a false image, put up false information in the broader interest of protecting the religion, or so be the case. So that's one opportunity which it is offered, where you can utilize that option, and Pakistan does true justice while exercising that option, which it has been doing so for the last 7 years. Now, one question which the international media, international politics, and the entire international discourse should be asking is that what is the utility for the world of the existence of this particular country? Because every other nation on the planet has got something positive to contribute to the world. What actually is Pakistan's contribution to the world, if any? I've been this question has been rattling my mind personally for many years now. Unfortunately, I'm dumbfounded. I have not been able to find any credible answer to this question. Apart from making some good money for the large arms manufacturers from the Western world. Other than that, I don't see any benefit of the very existence of this kind of a nation, which is so good at deception, so good at propagating fake news, so good at deceiving its own people, leave apart the world. Well, Osama bin Laden was found in Abbottabad, which is inside Pakistan, and still are we going to continue to look the other way around? While any small incident, however random that might be, happening within India or any other part of the world, gathers so much of international attention. But why doesn't Pakistan's deceptions not gather that much required attention? Now look at the current situation where even a country which was ravaged by the marauding Pakistani army, who slaughtered 3 million of them, which is Bangladesh, they are now today coming in support of Pakistan. Now, how ridiculous can that be? So, effectively, if you see, there's something which is fundamentally very much wrong, and I think it is high time that India takes the lead. India takes the lead to address this situation and address this problem once and for all. I don't think we will get a much better opportunity than what we have right now. It's initially when I personally heard of the attack being conducted against terrorist hideouts. I wasn't too impressed, because I thought, oh, this is another opportunity which we are probably letting go of by again going after the terrorists. Because in the previous video we have all very well discussed about how killing terrorists does not help, because as far as terrorists are concerned, it is just like a tap kept open for Pakistan. They can just produce thousands and thousands of them. But India's played it very smart actually, because 9 locations which were targeted, out of which we have Bahawalpur, we have Sialkot, Muridke. Many of these places are well within Pakistani territory, and which are the terror factories where the terrorists are manufactured. Now, what exactly was the impact of these attacks which we conducted on these 9 sites? Various claims have been floating around, stating about these many number of terrorists have been killed, neutralized. One credible information which I would really call as credible is the family of Maulana Masood Azhar, who have been neutralized completely, because that the Pakistani media also has very well they could not conceal this anymore, and it was all out in the open. Apart from that, we don't know really that how many terrorists have been neutralized. But one thing for sure, what has actually happened as a result of these attacks on these 9 locations is that one stern message which the Indian Army has conveyed to Pakistan is that there is no real place where you can now go and hide as far as Pakistani territory is concerned. Now, maybe you can probably think of migrating all your terror outfits into some other land which is outside Pakistan, far, far away from Pakistan. Maybe we will still get them from there, as the Indian Prime Minister had mentioned and declared from Bihar that we will go till the end of the world to hunt and get those perpetrators of the heinous attack at Pahalgam. So now there is no place for you to hide. As far as one thing was the terror outfits which were targeted, now we have taken the massive step of hitting the Pakistan army where it hurts. We even neutralized their air defense warning systems. So this is now, I think, we are in the final lap of Operation Sindoor, and the retaliation and the revenge which India seeks as a result of the Pahalgam attack. Another aspect which I would like to draw your attention to is just before this Pahalgam attack, one thing which has been really disturbing across India has been, of course, this is again coming out of the recently concluded, which is a year back, the elections which were concluded, and which was all about the north-south divide and people trying to bring in regionalism, trying to gather votes, seeking votes in the names of regionalism, stoking regionalism within, especially the southern states. How the southern states are different from the northern states. Then all this anti-Hindi affair which keeps on going on. Unfortunately, it was earlier, although it was earlier only restricted to Tamil Nadu, now even other states have followed suit. In Karnataka, that's happening. Then in Maharashtra, some failed parties have again trying to give themselves another chance at the political discourse, stoking these regionalism. I would rather call them as a regionalism fanatics. Look at it. Again, in the wake of all this anti-Hindi hate, beating up Biharis, beating up people from UP, which has been happening in, especially mainly in the state of Maharashtra, it is the north of India which is actually bearing the brunt of the Pakistani retaliation. Please take note of that. It is Jammu and Kashmir, it is Rajasthan, it is Punjab, the entire northern belt which is taking the hit. This is how India has been all throughout its bloody history, where whenever the invaders have been coming in, it is the north of India which has been taking the brunt, and south has been relatively peaceful. Never take this thing for granted. Our peace is a result of somebody else's sacrifice. The south of India the people of south of India are rather cool and calm. People of North India, as rightly you would observe, general. I mean, I'm not trying to get any stereotypes here, but that is what we generally observe, and that is a matter of fact as well. But this is the reason where the north of India has been taking all the beating from the invaders. This time around, at least we have got our air defense systems, our S-400s right in place. Earlier, it was hordes of marauding cannibals who were coming in just to slaughter civilians, and the north of India had to take that entire beating. South of the Vindhyachal has been always relatively safer. So this particular aspect is what I wanted to draw your attention to. Now it's time for decisiveness. Pakistan has actually helped the Indian Army by attacking our military installations and unfortunately, we had to even lose some civilians, very, very innocent civilians, including children. Well, for Pakistani army, it's no big deal. Killing people is no big deal for them. Again, one interesting fact is that Pakistan army is not Pakistan to start with, or rather, the actions of Pakistan army does not really necessarily reflect the intent of the larger Pakistani public. I think the Indian media as well as the Indian political discourse should now start playing things differently. I would actually request the Indian Prime Minister to put in an address, and he should now address the Pakistani public. Pakistani army has to be dissociated in comparison to the Pakistani public. Anyway, it's a country which is in economic doldrums. They can't last for very much. As far as the data speaks for itself, Pakistan can't sustain a war for more than 7 days if it's an intense war. That's all which their stockpile is going to support them for. As compared to that, India can go for 30 long days in case of an intense war, and another 30 long days if it is a medium scale war. So for total of 60 days, India has its stockpile ready. So Pakistan is no match for India anyway. So the Pakistani public, the Pakistani coffers are all empty. They are as good as international beggars. They have a debt. If you put everything all put together, what they have borrowed from Saudi, what they have borrowed from China, what they have borrowed from IMF, what they have borrowed from the US, all things put together, it is above $86 billion. They are in no position to repay that, and now they are going to be incurring heavy losses as a result of this war. So there's no way that Pakistan can sustain this war. So if we want to get this to some meaningful conclusion, we need to isolate the Pakistan army and their ISI. They have to be highlighted as the notorious duo which is behind all trouble, not just for India, but for the entire globe. Because it is Pakistan is a nesting ground for terror activities. Funds might be flowing in from different areas, but Pakistan is the nesting ground. Now that has to be destroyed. We need to create a situation where we get the Pakistani public to themselves mount pressure on their army, reduce their defense budgets, cut off their funding for these army men who actually enjoy lavish lives. They are generals who are good for nothing. In the event of a war, which we had earlier spoken about, the 1971 war, where 93,000 of them, led by their general, meekly surrendered to the enemy and came back and lost almost half of their territory, which was East Pakistan earlier. So that is how good their army is. All these large, tall claims which they keep on making, it was all exposed when India hit all these targets deep inside Pakistani territory. So what is the whole point in nurturing and keeping this kind of an entity alive and thriving? It's no good. In fact, it is extremely detrimental to world peace. Pakistan army does not hesitate to put its own civilians in danger. What they do in POK is that they would have their medium caliber guns positioned in the middle of civilian territories, and from where they will fire onto Indian posts. And when India will retaliate, the retaliation will cause civilian casualties in POK. But who's responsible for that? The positioning of those medium caliber guns in the middle of civilian territory. And Pakistan will deliberately do that, because then they will again start crying foul and try to attract international attention about how India has killed its civilians. Well, this is the same textbook example of what the Hamas does in Gaza. They will mount attacks on Israel from civilian territories, and when Israel hits back, there will be a lot of civilian casualties. And then the entire international media will be flooded with images about women, children who have unfortunately been killed as a result of these attacks. But what is the root cause of it? The root cause is Hamas, who is utilizing civilian territory to mount attacks on the enemy. Now, when India is carrying out targeted attacks in Pakistan, well, it's not very difficult to guess that there could be collateral damage, because after all, it is a high density populated country, Pakistan. So collateral damage is going to happen. So we are perched upon that particular peculiar situation where we can make this thing decisive now. Now we need to push real hard inside Pakistan territory. That's what I would really hope so. POK definitely we have to. We should make an announcement that this is what the Indian army is going to undertake the activities inside POK. Whoever wants to stay and be part of the larger Indian mainland can stay. If people have their doubts that whether they won't be able to integrate with the Indian cultural ethos, you have got 48 hours. You can might as well vacate POK. I think that kind of a message has to go down. Then Balochistan is also looking at it as their opportunity. The BLA is trying to take control of Quetta. I would request the Indian Prime Minister to now address the Pakistani public and give them an opportunity to decide for themselves that how they want to crisp and carve out their futures. Do they want to play the same tune as the ISI and the notorious Pakistan army in their ill-gotten, self-centered motives? The Pakistan army doesn't care for the Pakistani public. This thing should be very clear in the minds of the Pakistani public. This is that very army who had slaughtered 3 million of their own people in East Pakistan. So if the need be, they won't hesitate to resort to these kind of options. And who is hand in glove with Pakistan? China. Who is that one person who has killed, massacred the most number of human beings within their own territory? It is none other than Mao, the earlier Chinese leader. Millions of Chinese were slaughtered by him. So this is the team, Pakistan and China. Killing their own people is not a very difficult thing for them. So the Pakistan public has to now decide for themselves what they want to do in the wake of this particular action and retaliation which is currently underway. Well, there have been multiple instances across the globe where certain nations have been carved out from what it was earlier. We know how the multiple nations splintered out of the earlier Soviet Republic. We have all these Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, all these places. Then even the earlier Yugoslavia. Then a lot of other instances are there where nations have been formed in the recent past over the last 100 years or so. So then, isn't Pakistan just one more such case? No, sadly, I'm sorry, it isn't. Pakistan case is very different. Pakistan was purely created on the basis of religious hate. The simple notion that Muslims can't stay or live along or get along with anybody else belonging to other religions. So this was the only single reason why Pakistan was formed. Now what is the evidence? Well, if people are not well read on history, just one simple thing, just remember. Mahatma Gandhi had actually offered Muhammad Ali Jinnah the option of being the Prime Minister of United India. He said, no, I want a separate country for myself and my people. Even if it is a smaller piece of land, I don't want the United India. I will be happy with that. But separatism is what is the essential identity of Pakistan. And that notion is what is being carried to till this date. Why did the terrorists actually single out people based on their religion? Each time, that is what their fundamentalism will smell of. So, the existence of such countries is a huge danger to world peace. It has got no place in humanity. Well, so now it is a decisive time for India and the international discourse. Certain one example again, I would like to pull it out from ancient India, where Lord Krishna had tried his level best to negotiate with the Kauravas, but a gang who's essentially now immoral, unethical, and whose actions are going to go against the interests of the public at large, their survival gets into question, and it has to be dealt with in the most severe manner as possible. And that is where Lord Krishna himself is now leading men into the war, calling for the complete decimation of that immoral, unethical entity. So, this is that one thought which I would like to leave you with. Thank you.